Okay. Um, as always, my job is to continuously talk about what's happening to me. I hear my peers being frustrated, and their frustration is gonna make means that there's gonna be a lot of more bad things happening to me. And like I said, I've seen the targeting as what it is. You can see like a bunch of like my thumbnails and the cover of my videos, a lot of like DARPA related website snapshots of really what this is about. This obviously the DARPA is not going to be saying they experiment on human being, but it brings frustration to these perps who wanted to come up with this like fantasy of what this is about, because they try to create a psyop, right? They wanted to present themselves, and here, let me just start with just an introduction and a proper way to introduce myself. I'm what you call a TI, a targeted individual. Target individuals, reality is this: as much as things look like there's something else, we are human subjects in this program. Human subject for what? For a program that is very neurotechnological focus, and of course other remote technology, including directed energy, and your whole ecosystem, your whole surroundings is manipulated and they create this like orchestrated life for a targeted individual, and it's part of this program that is developing this technology. And at first they try to present themselves as this different type of people. They even try to make it seem like they're analyzing you, they're figuring you out or something, that when in reality this neurotechnology is rewiring you. You are no longer yourself. Things are being changed for you to experience things in a different ways, and then they try to gaslight you to get you to accept this new version of how you're experiencing things. And it's obvious that your brain is being changed, and they want you to accept this change as if you're not being manipulated to experience this change. And a lot of things they do with me, because they have used these tactics of pedophilia type of torture. The pedophilia type of torture is something that you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear targeted individuals talking about how what they're experiencing can consist of some pedophilia ways of experiencing things. That shows a clear pattern that they have this orchestrated tactics, organized tactics that they systematically implement on target individuals. So, for example, one woman says sometimes they make her smell baby powder. Once they make her smell baby powder, what happens is when they start making her smell baby powder, they give her this reaction to it that is pedophilia centric. Now, I don't know if they get some kind of sexual arousals then, and then but somehow creates some pedophilia ways of responding to that. Another person just clearly said that they force him to think in these pedophilia ways. Another person, majority are saying that they implant child porn in their mind. This woman said that they did this program perversion where they give you some sexual arousals and aim those sexual arousals toward children. Now, you clearly see a pattern here that consists of pedophilia ways of tormenting people. With me, it's the same thing. But they wanted to create a way of me subscribing to this. Now, it's clear that there's a way they do things that is pedophilia centric. It's as clear as it gets. It's extremely clear. But they want me to accept that what I'm experiencing, when I see this little girl, this little baby, that this is natural. That I should somehow make sense of it. And because of what I know, the validation and the reality of what this is, I'm not subscribing to it. So what they like to do is warn me of the torture I'm going to experience. These are people who have been humiliated by other things. They've been torturing children. They hurt children. This technology, this program is also implemented toward babies. I mean, infants are being involved in this program, and they are doing directed energy and aiming toward these babies. They use sexual torture toward children. Literally, using the same tactics they can implement on us, target individual who are adults, a lot of sexual torture, but use that toward children. Now, these are things that are being said, but the same people doing this thing to me. And they do this to these children because this is a human experimentation program. So they want to have as many samples, which including children as samples, to improve and so continue to grow this technology. And these people has done that systematically across the world. Because machine learning tactics, machine learning technology gets better with more and more samples. So these people use these horrible tactics to acquire those results, to improve this weaponry, because at this point it is a weaponry, and this is a technology that's been developed by this intelligence community. Like DOD, DARPA is for sure, even on their website, and that's why you're going to see in a thumbnail, and actually after this video, that you see that obviously those are those entities running the show. Now, with me, they like to create a psyop, right? For me, they are trying to present themselves as this group of people who are just avenging for all the things I've done. Now, you're going to see a lot of videos of the amount of torture they've done to women. They have raped them to the point of suicide. There's a lot of women who've killed themselves in this program and are still being tortured today because these people do these horrible things. With me, the psyop is also a bunch of people who try to, especially, and I know it's a psyop, but they use these women or female individual who try to sound fierce and as if they are here to protect or avenge, or they come up with it. For example, there's this woman that say they're doing it for, her name is Courtney, right? It's a name I made up. And they say we're doing it for her. These people saying that they're doing it for her, this woman that they don't care about, are in a program that is raping and torturing women till they kill themselves. Now, you know, understand the frustration of these people who try to present themselves as that when I know what they've done to all these women. You go listen to a testimony of a woman who talks about how she gets raped every day. And she's been getting raped for the last 3 years. Every morning and every time she's awake. Been raped for 3 years. Sometimes mildly, sometimes extremely. And there's so many like that. So you hear these people trying to make me think that they're doing this for her. And I know that they will torture this woman in these horrible ways. So you understand the frustration. Now, I'm a target individual. That means that I'm at this point, so much can be done to me. Like as a target individual, it means that you're basically, whatever can happen to you. You are just a human subject and anything can happen to you. So the frustration, that psyop that they wanted to present of these women who are wanting to be strong and femme fatale-ish cannot be working here, is going to create a frustration and anger for those psyop, because this femme fatale, this female femme fatale, this woman who wants to be strong, who wants to appear like this strong group of femme fatale and pretend like this is like their money, they're avenging. In reality, they are working for this program that is torturing so many women. They're delusional. So it's my purpose to continuously to address these things and make sure that they don't go into the escapism. They understand that the program they're in is torturing and killing so many women. And they're doing so much. They are so foul for being involved in this, with the foulness of what they've done to women. But the torture is not only physical, it's also psychological. I'm talking about forcing women and men to look at children in a sexual way. Now, with me, the moment I see them, I do not give them an ounce of any of that fantasy they've put together. And they hate that. And they tell me how I'm going to be framed. They tell me that I'm going to be framed, then I'm going to be in jail, and then they're going to rape you, right? And there's this, and they use these warnings every time I say the things I say right now. Because they want to escape the reality of what they do, or what they're part of. The fact that I'm not subscribing to these pedophilia things, I know this with them manipulating me, and I'll address how they try to create this back and forth in my head. They want to pretend that they've done it for this woman, that that time what was that, it was that. I'm like, you are here in this program that is killing, torturing, and raping this woman till the point of suicide, and you think I'm gonna let you escape into that little psyop you created while you're in a program that is torturing women? You're delusional trash. And then some of them doing this to me have experienced torturing women. They are disgusting trash. And they even, the psyop, some of them, this entitled fraudulent feminism that they've tried to use as a psyop. There is no real woman or real feminist who be in this program, being involved in a program that is destroying and using rape, sexual torture onto a lot of women. There's a high percentage of women, and pushing them to suicide for the purpose of improving this technology that is used as a weapon. So for me, I see them as this disgusting lowlife who are here to say, oh, this is rape, this is when they're in a program that is literally raping these women to the point of suicide. So when I see them, everything, I just imagine all the testimonials of the people I've seen talk about what they've gone through what's gone through in their life. Can you imagine somebody who's involved in like almost a program, like a Holocaust-like program, and they try to talk about this woman, what was this? And you look at all the women begging for help. You want to look at them, you're like, you trash, low-life, nasty. Don't even mention this name of Courtney. With all this, with the dead bodies behind you of all these women being tortured. Never. So first you see them as that. Now, what does that do? I just told how this person say that they're going to rape you, the person's going to rape you, is going to have AIDS. And I was like, listen, this theatrical torture is not going to change reality. I understand. You wanted to paint yourself as something that you're not. I expect nothing but the worst. I hear testimonies of women being tortured by you guys in ways that's unbelievable. Some of them can't even use the restroom. Crippled, tortured, amputated toes and things like that because of the radiation. All these things that does to your body. I heard it. And, the psyops is this where they all talk about, oh, this is a group of this cult is doing this, a group of the government, the Russian government's doing this. And it's funny because a lot of women are saying that there's a lot of females involved in this program. Right, so if they wanted to create that psyop, or they just take some people, okay, play the family, you volunteer, like all of that. It's just a psyop. And some women are saying that there's this woman, and it's so easy for us target individual to think that this is something else but the government involved. And one woman thinks this is like a cult. She thinks like a cult is mixed with something else. It's obviously not a cult. It's obviously governmental entities. But she says the cult is run by women. Right? She's a woman who talks about how she get raped and all that. And even when she gets raped and try to go to the doctor, because the doctors are compromised too. They're part of this. They refuse her a rape kit. And it's a woman doctor, by the way. So don't be fooled by the psyops and the facade. This is all... It's just a way to just kind of, it's gimmicky. It's just to try to create a reality that's falsified. So my perps, a lot of the perps that are involved in it, and I know they're just involved in it because I'm in the program, and then they become perps in the sense that they're not the one who put me in this program. The people who put me in this program are very, very far from what these people are presenting themselves as. Right? I was put in this program by one of the most conservative entity company that you can imagine in this country. Matter of fact, they can't even speak about a pedophile called rewire because of these people. Because they donated money to him, and I guess there's some restrictions of some sort. And so these people who were trying to play this femme fatale, these progressive women, and would rally for justice for all, or even rally for the abortion being, the right of abortion and all of that, are now involved in this, trying to make me believe that it's their program. When I know the people who put me in this program are the same people who actually helped flip Roe versus Wade. Now, so you understand that, okay, that's the correlation here is non-existent. It means that they can create this psyop. And I understand why they use this psyop. Because they want to distract me from, first of all, who put me in this program, and then they want to present themselves as like, oh no, we're doing this for that, for this, you should see. And instead of me seeing them as this group of trash, the government contracts to do some horrible things to even women and children. Some of them try to distance themselves, as in, oh, I didn't do it. But others will be like, oh, you're not my first. I've done this to, people much more vulnerable than you. So they think I'm going to let them live this fantasy. And when they interact, so I'm a target individual who deals with V2K. What is V2K? V2K in synthetic telepathy is when they have the ability to just manipulate your brain and do so much to your brain. But V2K is also gives you the ability to propel your voice into somebody's brain remotely. And so you can understand that if you want to sound certain ways, you use V2K and you can interact with somebody. And if I can talk to you remotely, I can make myself sound however I want. I can create this like persona that I want to create. And so that's when I start like using the different tones. It's like, oh, he's going to rape you. Oh, you did this. We are. I won't. Stop talking about the torture women. I won't stop that. Like they make themselves sound like this. And then you see them, you see how bottom feeders they are. You see for the trash that they are. You're like, listen, you're just nothing. And they try to, and it sounds comical, and they try, no, we are this group of femme fatale. Yeah, we're Kill Bill type of. It's so clown-like. With me, when they do the peripheral type of torture, there's these things they like to do. For example, yesterday, I made a video about this. I think it was the sister, the little sister of a friend of mine, and it's just like a little girl, a little toddler, maybe 2-3 years old, and chubby little kid. But I blurred her face, and the way they made me experience it, especially when I was in bed, it was so nasty. When I'm in bed, it feels like they can do so much more when I'm in this state of like relaxation. I feel like they can create more things. They make me experience this weird stimulation sensation and make me think that that's how you think when you were a kid. With me, the way they try to make me experience these peripheral things is they make me get these reactions and then say that what we're doing is we're rewiring your brain of you when you were a child. That's how you would experience what you're seeing today if you were a child. And so what we're doing, we are taking, because there are things that when you're in your childhood that we can play around to make you experience what you're experiencing today, right? Of course, that makes no sense. Because first of all, you admit that you have to manipulate me and my brain and my whatever in order for me to experience that. So that means it's not happening organically. It has to be manipulated into experiencing that. So you understand that alone shows that they then accepting that they have to change my brain some ways for me to experience what I'm experiencing. It's like me saying, oh, but I can go in your brain. I can play around with certain things. I can go your brain maybe when you're like 13, 14, maybe 9 years old, or maybe like 6 years old, and then mix things around, and voila, you see, they are. And they said that, and you're supposed to be acceptive of that. Do you understand how delusional and stupid that sounds on its own? And truly one should be like, oh my gosh. And then, so for me, they like to say pain now. Now, when I was a kid, when I was in middle school, I just turned 14 years old. I always talk about it because I understand. I take things for the reality of things. When I just turned 14 years old in 8th grade. Testosterone just boosted. I learned how to. I discovered myself as a boy. At that point, I'm doing that all the time. I don't want to go into details. But one day I do something stupid to myself. It's like that. And it's embarrassing. I don't even want to go too much in detail. And that was it. It never happened again. It was an impulsive moment of a child at that age. Matter of fact, it was so impulsive. It's something that only happened once that it disappeared from my brain. But that's what a child is capable of doing at that age. Now, what they've been doing, first of all, they're like, oh, you see, that's right, that's abuse. First of all, I'm talking to people who torture children sexually, right? Suffocate. You're going to hear testimonials of babies 7-year-old children being suffocated by this weapon, restricting the lungs of a 7-year-old using this technology. Right? You hear about them radiating a baby of 3 weeks old. They thought the baby was dying, but it was just radiation. You hear a 3-year-old child being zapped, not even zapped, they torture the genitals of this 3-year-old child. He grabs his genitals, thinking, like, look, hurts. These are the kind of things they do to babies and children. Now, they're trying to talk to me about me as a kid and try to exaggerate what a kid in 8th grade did to himself. An impulsive child in 8th grade, when they do these horrible things to babies. So even that, when I look at them and I listen to what they've done to children, the way they've abused these children for the purpose of improving this technology and developing this technology, you understand, you see them, I cannot let them escape. But going back to me, a child in 8th grade doing something impulsive to myself, of course, it's looking back as an adult person, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But I understand I was a child, an impulsive child who did something stupid to himself. Some of these people talking to me, they have children. They can understand how a child can do something impulsive and stupid like that. And they have to exaggerate. You know the things they've said, use her mouth, use her hands, use like, you molested her, like some nasty things to try to exaggerate the stuff that they wish that was true. When in reality, these people truly molest these children. 7-year-old, 4 or 5-year-old tortured sexually. While me, they try to exaggerate what a middle school child did to himself. You understand? Read between the lines, did to himself. In 8th grade, just turned 14 years old. Now, because of that moment in the childhood of an impulsive 8th grader who did something just so impulsive and never happened again, they try to then say, like, what you're experiencing today is you as a kid around that age. When in reality, I didn't even feel anything like that when I was that age. But then they try to go back when I'm much younger. When I'm 9 years old. When I'm in 3rd grade. And then say, no, but then you felt something like that. So now you tell me that you're making me experience the way I will see things when I'm in 3rd grade? And they will do these things where this little baby's like this chubby little baby, and I'll show you. This little chubby baby who just like super adorable and like is wholesome. Like now is, of course, things turn into pedophilia things. It's so nasty. And there was a covered picture of like an older kid who's maybe 9 years old. And they say, oh, this is fake, this is real, and they try to create battles. I was like, no, all of this is fake. I will not experience any of these nasty things if this trash did not wire my brain in these disturbing ways, manipulate my brain in these ways, rewire it in these disturbing ways. And to them, it's like, no, we just rewired to you when you were a kid. So you understand that their job, they obviously know their job, and they like to call it being at war because they have to dumb themselves and say things like I'm saying in these ways. Reality is this: they're gonna have to change. Well, this program, and when I say they, I gotta bring it back to reality. These people they're just the perps. This technology is so sophisticated. I can do nothing about it. There is nothing I can do to stop that, because this technology is completely takes over your brain and do so much to you. It manipulates you. And so you hear these people who are truly fragile, weak human beings finding empowerment because this technology is applied onto civilians that can do nothing about it. And these perps who are nobodies, who are nothings, all of a sudden try to present themselves and find this sense of strength because they are working for this program, this governmental entity like DARPA and DOD, which happen to have a bunch of pedophiles. A bunch of pedophiles were caught in these agencies. But they are contracted by these entities and implement these tactics onto civilians used as guinea pigs. And they find strength, like, oh, we're going to watch you being tortured. These losers are just nobodies. That have to find ways to kind of cope with reality that they're in. a reality where they know that the brain is being manipulated to experience these disgusting things toward children, and even have to try to convince the target individual what we're doing, right? It's you because what we're doing is making you think in a way that you would think when you're a child, but we have to manipulate things around in this way and that way, and via this technology we can. So yeah, they are. That's proof, right? Of course they know. You have to manipulate me to experience this. Period. You make me experience this. Regardless of how you try to discuss it or camouflage it, you have to manipulate that in my brain. That's happening to me, I will not experience these things like that. It's like, for me, basically telling them, if I can get you in your brain and play things around and manipulate these ways and use your brain like that and take you something like that and add these things and put it, you see? And they want you to truly start thinking this disgusting, disturbing, retarded way. That's the truth. And that's what they use, like some spectrum-like individuals who have escaped from reality in order to cope with what they're involved in. Because they have to do this, they have to implement these tactics. And so whatever you have to rewire yourself, they have to rewire themselves in logic. In their logic, if they have the ability to manipulate you to experience that, then that's you. Do you understand the logic of this purpose? That's their job. So they're saying that if we have the ability to go in your brain via this technology that can rewire your brain and manipulate you in all these ways, then, you see, that's you. Of course I understand. They manipulate me. It's not even me when I'm a child. And as far as they would then try to make me think as me back to like a child in 3rd grade, that's, come on. And then they go into these tactics of repetition. Repetition is a way to disorient you. Those are tactics coming from straight to the CIA. Another entity filled with pedophiles. Pedophilia is like a key weaponry tool for them. Pedophilia is like a cultural thing going on over there. You know, yesterday somebody came and was like, oh, we are the pedophile. Absolutely. Absolutely. This program is ran in this like pedophilia like aura of things. The entities like DOD, DARPA, they keep catching NCIA, a lot of pedophiles. Target individuals are talking about this pedophilia type of torture. The way they torture children, pedophilia ways. They are pedophilia-centric. And they try to counter it by using tonality and try to sound certain ways. Because they try to normalize these tactics of using pedophilia-centric tactics to break people down. And try to like be normal about it. And then call it, oh no, we are at war. So it's okay. When in reality is they are using these tactics on human beings like guinea pigs in order to get the result they need to improve this technology that is used, this neurotechnology that is used as a weapon. And they want you to subscribe to these things. And then they do everything possible to disorient you into like thinking these retarded ways. And they know this thing's coming back to them for sure. They're going to find ways to block it out, but it's coming back one way or another. The fantasy, the la-la. Matter of fact, I think that because of me continuously bring up the reality of what they're part of, the theatric of the torture is going to be at a higher level, meaning they're going to have to try to counter it by like, oh, they're going to take out you. Yes, so that means we're true. That means it makes sense. They're going to castrate you, so that's you see, that's proof. We proved it. They're going to castrate you. That's how the way of their logic has gone to. They make me experience this thing. I know it's they manipulate me. It's like, oh, they're going to castrate you. So identify with these things. No, you manipulate me to experience that. And they're very cowardly. Do that to babies too. Torture babies sexually. In every way you can see, these people want to make themselves appear in certain ways that they can't work at this point. So, for me, I've understood. And I'm the kind of person who refuse and who I will do something purposely knowing it's going to cause me more harm just to make sure that the point is made. And they hate that. And so for these people who wanted to like they hate me, it's like, we hate you. And I'm looking at them, I know you torture women and children. I know you guys are ran by pedos. I know that you do the pedophile type of torture. Stop trying to sound like this. Or they're like, okay, oh, they're gonna rape you, they won't torture you. I'd rather get tortured, raped, cut in pieces, castrated, all that, than do what you guys do. A bunch of coward low-life bottom feeders who even tortured children and babies. Let me run there. He's gonna have AIDS? Okay. This is AIDS. What do you mean AIDS? I mean, you guys, they can radiate you, and your immune system is being destroyed by this low life. Basically, they can make you have AIDS without even actually needing to have AIDS, because they destroy your immune system. They can make you sick. I mean, the level of this technology, what it can do to your body is incredible. Of course, for us, it's done in a negative way. But the things they can do, I mean, I think that my organs, I don't know what's happening, but nobody has come and done anything directly to me. Everything has mostly done remotely. But I know some organs are failing in some ways. I know my colon, my rectum area, all of that, something is just shifting around. Nobody came and did something. I know they do this, they can do that remotely. They can surgically do things to me. I can feel it. So when they say, oh, this person is going to rape you, it has AIDS, what? Do you know you can kill me right now? Slowly kill me, and I can be by myself for the rest of my life and die from a disease that you can create in me. Because I take things in the right perspective. They want me to let them live their fantasy. The theatricals is what it is. Theatricals. They try to counter reality. I know what these people are, and I see them truly for what they are. They try to, and the most disgusting, like, listen, there's a few like psyops. Listen, everybody can be involved in it. Black, whites, Hispanic, white, black, man, woman, all of that. All the different gender, all the different, like, but there is nothing more disturbing to see, like, when they try to play like this progressive, PC type of people, or like femme fatale and fierce, like, and I gotta say it, like, this, like, white, like, thinking that, like want to be fierce. It's like so disgusting. I'm like, I know what you guys do. I'm not subscribing to this psyop. I know who's running these things. Brain in you think I'm nothing like people who talks about brain initiative in DARPA. Imagine this literally wordage of defense, DARPA, which is Defense Advanced Research Program agencies, addressing that they've been working on neurotechnology for decades, since the 70s, and it's probably even before that. I'm sure they're like, so let's say the 70s instead of like the 60s. And they want me to think that the Department of Defense is not involved in this program, and this DARPA kind of entity that specializes in technology and research in advanced technology, research in advanced technology, has nothing to do with this program that can rewire and manipulate your brain. And I think it's just this feminist, strong, femme fatale, woke group of volunteers. And guess what? They found a program manager at DARPA downloading child porn on his government devices. So of course I know what this is. We target individuals are used as subject to continuously improve this technology, this neurotechnology that is used as a weapon. And like any machine learning technology, the machine learns with more and more sample, and it is learning how to do its job even more and more and more efficiently. And the job is the job of breaking down somebody and controlling somebody and manipulating somebody. And this is a weapon. This is not used for good things. This is not used for the betterment of target individual. They're finding ways to better kill, torture, torment, push somebody to kill themselves, and get the result as much result as they can. That's what I think they like to prolong these things. They want the most torture they can and prolong this as long as they can. I don't think they want somebody to kill themselves the same day. I think they want to prolong this but prolong it with a lot of torture and torment and different emotions. Because I'm sure if they could push somebody to kill themselves in 2 days, 2 3 days, make them, because you stop sleeping, you all, like all of these things they can do. But this is a technology that feeds off the sufferance of people. It sounds very satanical and biblical, but you gotta look at it as a technology that they're improving, and this is a technology that's used for weapon. And so to improve that, they want to maximize sufferance, to understand it better, not to understand it, but to learn better ways to implement it. It's foul. And they do that to babies and women. And one of the ways to make somebody suffering is using this psychological torture of pedophilia type of torture. You know how disturbing it is? I almost killed myself thinking about it. Thank God I found the testimony. But I was thinking, like, I'd rather die than having, because I knew they are literally conditioning my brain, training my brain to think about children like this. They make me think about these pedophilia things they do to me. They do that all the time. I look at a child, disgusting things. My dreams with sexual dreams, with kids, pedophilia dreams. They play my libido, my erections. They try to rewire my brain every time. It's so disgusting. I was watching like adult content, and they were like, black girl, and make me imagine a black little girl in the midst of, so nasty. They were rewiring me in so many ways to train my brain. And I was like, I'd rather die than turn into somebody like that. They're trying to change me. I'd rather die before I lose myself. The reason why I didn't go through it is because I started seeing the testimonials of others. And I was like, if this woman can do this, and she's going through the pedophilia type of torture, and I've been validated, of course I know it was not me, but now I know that there's people going through the same things, and they're strong. They stay around for decades and years of going through this whole nastiness. So me, 2 months in, thinking about no. And listen to these bottom feeders, and on top of that, later on I found out these people actually work for entities filled with pedophiles. No, I have a purpose. This is my purpose. Till I can, this is my purpose. To all my target individuals, stay strong. Stay strong. You gotta know who you are, and you never should be subscribing to it. I remember when they brought up this thing I did when I was a kid. It faded out. It was such an impulsive moment of a child that, when kids do something that they don't even think twice. It's so gone. Then when they brought it back, I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And they're like, how old were you? And I'm doing the math. It's like, what? I just turned 8. I was just turning 14 years old. I was in 8th grade. And I realized, what the hell is stupidity is that? What a dumbass kid with a child. That's a typical way a delinquent child does, like for a moment, like not even for an impulsive moment. But with me being a 30-some-year-old thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But that alone was like annoying me. I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But of course, I was not like, oh, what made me want to like lose it is when I was seeing the pattern of what they're doing. They're training my brain to think about kids in a sexual way. And because, like I said, they like to prolong these things. What they wanted to do, when they told me about this, I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And they're like, oh yeah, how old were you? You were young, huh? And I realized, yes, I was very young. I was a kid. Not only I was an 8th grade kid who did something. And the reason why they brought that up is because what they want you to do is to have this back and forth. They want to prolong this thing. Because once you realize how young you were, how much of a child you were, it's like, okay, that's what a child can do. That's what a kid can be doing. Like a kid can do something stupid like that and never think twice. That's the mind of a child. An impulsive kid. And once I got this information, I was like, woohoo, okay, that's why this stupid thing, that's why I did this dumb thing at the moment. I was that young. In my mind, I thought I was actually older than that. I was like, what? I was like, I thought, I was older. I was like, oh my gosh, I just turned 14. I was turning 14. Oh, pff. Once I realized that, I was like, done, that's done. But what I'm trying to say, they continuously were training my brain to look at kids in this sexual way. And I noticed that sometimes what they do is they don't want to push, they don't want to, like, it's like they try to, like, do this back and forth where they want you to go up and down and up and down and up and down. And I realized, okay, that's why I don't even go up and down anymore. Even the up, I don't even take them. Those up, it's like you guys just waiting for a moment to bring me down and then go up. But all I know is I'm gonna always see things for what they are. Always see things for what they are. From this point, once you learn about target individuals and the tactics they use, you understand that pedophilia type of torture is what they do. Meaning they make you experience nasty stimulation. I've been experiencing that since August 19, 2019. I haven't been the same since. Rewired since that day. They've been using different kind of like logics. Like, no, what we do is like we manipulate you to experience what you experienced when you were a kid, and try to like truly make sense. It's like, imagine I'm talking to a 40-year-old man. And I'm like, you know what you're thinking? The way you're thinking, the way you're experiencing things, if I played with your brain and made you think the way you think when you're 9 years old, when you're 13, when you're 10, when you're 7, then that's how you think. And then feel the stimulation like that. This is, yeah, you see, we have to do all this though. Retardation. And they manipulate your memories. They've been manipulating my memories, even me in my childhood around 13, 14, because I didn't feel these things. I didn't look at a child and feel stimulation. Like now I'm forced to experience. So they go even further back. 9 years old, 8 years old. Can you imagine? I'm getting close to my 40s. And this is the things they try to make me accept. These people are renowned for manipulating people in these pedophilia ways. And working for entities filled with pedophiles. There's a cultural pedophilia issue going on in this intelligence community. There's patterns. There's truly something to look into. But not only that, the way they've been torturing people has been very specifically pedophilia-centric. And this is obviously ran by this governmental entity, including DARPA, which clearly says they've been working on neurotechnology since the 70s, maybe even earlier than that. These people are delusional if that ever. And they talk, they've been manipulating my memories so much, right? And I've made so many videos in regard of how my memories are manipulated. When they do this thing, these little girls like that, it's them playing my brain and manipulating even my memories. It felt like that when you felt, and it make me feel something like, oh, like, remember this little girl, and they make me think, for example, this little girl yesterday. But if you would have felt like that if you were when you were that young, maybe when you were 9 years old, 8 years old, and try to make me feel this feeling. And manipulate it and put that in my memories and make me feel like I would imagine feeling like that when I was a kid. And then you hear these journals coming up addressing the fact that we have to prep for neuroethical preparations because manipulation of the memory is coming up soon in the commercial world. It's already out there. Like I said, they've been manipulating my memories, my childhood memories, and all kind of things. And you see, like, you get validation in all ends. Manipulation of memories is happening to me since August 19, 2019. You see that in the commercial world, it's coming up. People are saying, oh, the fiction, the reality of the fiction of yesterday is the reality of today. Memory manipulations. What if somebody manipulates your memory in this, in the wrong way, in a malicious way? Can one change? Can one become somebody else? Like, literally calling, like, this was written in 2016. So you gotta be strong. You gotta know who you are. They're gonna try to break you down, and my ways of logics are being slowly fading away. I'm becoming on the spectrum. My mental dialogues and logics are so stupid because I'm interacting with people who sound like children, and they have to make themselves like children. Right now, I just heard somebody, we won, because they try to, in my brain, they had these battles where oh, you remember, like you were like when they told you about what you did as a kid, you were like, oh my gosh, because this is something I never thought about. Immediately after I did whatever I did to myself as a kid in 8th grade. So when they brought that up, I'm like, oh, I don't. I was like, what? And I was like, what was I thinking? And then, of course, because I was like thinking about that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? It's like, how old were you? And they're like, you see, if we didn't tell you how old you were, I was like, no, I was gonna figure that out. But it proved my points that these people knew that that's what a child is capable of doing. But today, when they make me experience these things, it's like, no, it's you when you were a kid. It's like, no, I wasn't. That's not me when I was a kid. The reason why I forgot about this moment is because this is a moment that was so impulsive and it meant nothing to me. If that was something that I truly, like, it was something that I was thinking about, it would be something, it might be engraved in my head. No, it's just an impulsive thing a child did. Now, these people have been doing the pedophilia type of torture, and every time I'm experiencing whatever I'm experiencing, it should be like, oh no, that's how you would feel when you were a kid. It's nasty. But I will never, never, never subscribe to this. I understand the tactics. I understand what they prolong. I understand what they do, the up and down, create some retarded logic, and then play the good person, the good guy. It's like a good guy, bad guy type of thing. It's like, oh, that's just a tactic. You just try to rewire me and make me accept this rewiring. Typical CIA tactics to brainwash me. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. They are going to try to change who you are. I will never experience the me again. I will never be me. But I'll always recognize this is not me. It's these people manipulating me. It's this supercomputer that I'm attached to that can rewire my brain in these disgusting ways. And they're going to go through their speech, their repetitions until I subscribe. I will never. So when I get tortured, because this is what they're going to have to do, I'll be thankful that I never subscribed and I got a chance to speak about what's happening to me. And I'm thankful I didn't have to live life the way these people had to live life. So stay strong and know that justice will be done.